Good morning, everybody. This is the open and the session of the 14th of August 2019. We had this new additional range long level. It's around the 81 now to 79. We see all the time absorption accumulation. Remembering our additional levels, or the normal range long levels, is the 75, now the 80, and also the 65. We're looking for the long trade on these levels, and also if we can build value above the 86 area. We want to see then increasing volume. Only then we go for the trend long trade. So you can see we started to get some little small holding structure, and in the moment as people sold, we see no absorption. That means we measure here success or failure, and we see more failure signs, and this failure signs then continued into selling into this area. Our next activity level is reached at the moment. We look in here for responsive buying to get into the long at this level, and there's also a second level. Remember, yesterday value area high and the volume edge at the 75. If we see now pulling back and another buying candle, I'm looking here for the cheap entry, but not going then for the short if it fails, because there's another buying level at the 75. So this lucrative long trade here failed. We couldn't hold this scenario, even though we saw closing of the longs and then again absorption and long. The pressure then continued with this at this moment at 9 o'clock and 9 minutes right now, and made a test now the lower level at the 75. So this is also possible. If we see now a stabilization at the 79 level again, and people pulling back into, and we see then the rejection of buying again, then this level would be still alive. But I see it now a little bit more probable, as long we see some selling here again, that they test maybe this level from the pre-market and the overnight value, where we saw some accumulation starting from the 75 area. This here was my trade. You see, when I entered, I wanted to see closing of longs. We see here the absorption, new longs coming in. I entered cheap within the 1-2 tick area of the extreme, and then you see that absorption stopped. The liquidity was pulled away in the bid. This happens at 9 o'clock 8, and then they sold into the 77 only 2 contracts. Look, this is the funny thing. I was only one of the 2 that got here filled. So, all right. So okay, we now having some kind of stabilization. That means the selling now a little bit weaker, and there are not at the moment the real rejection signs of the buy side. It means don't hurry here, because we already see that there's new pressure coming in. We want to see now the confirmation that there is no more selling and liquidity holds. That means the best thing here would be waiting for a real push of sellers into the low area and seeing real absorption, and then buyers coming in again. Then you would have a good advantage here for the long. Now the buyers are coming in, but we haven't seen the absorption yet. So that means no confirmation and no reason then to risk a second trade if the first failed because of too much sell pressure. We will wait, then we get enough. There are many other chances to come for us to make a good trade. But we need to be patient with the right attitude while we wait. Everything else will be just an emotional reaction to our emotions and thoughts that now, of course, may say to you, if you made a trade that was a failed one, then you may say, if you're still in the mood and the mindset comparing only winning or losing trades, which is absolutely wrong, because we only compare and measure lucrative and lousy trades. So that means we don't be so much in the P and L thinking. We don't want to be in P and L thinking, because then we get emotional. So that's totally okay. So make your own observations on you and see what's happening in your mind now. So we wait now. There's 2 possible scenarios now. We coming back. It would be good that we trade this range through with the target 87 if you're in this long trade. I told you I don't take it because I wanted to see some absorption signs as well to be confirmed that this is now accepted level. And in this case, if you're in this trade anyway, we see our targets from the range perspective in the auction at the 87. So we have done 2 chances. You can look for the long trade. If we build value on top of this at the moment value edge 86, 87 with pullback and holding and absorption and increasing buy volume, try to get in cheap. Or you can look here at the 87 level, either for the failure of a failed breakout, or you look for responsive selling at the top at the 87 with a double rejection and go in for the short trade. You have then again range trade possibility at the long side now at this level 79. And the next thing will be testing this area, failing to get into yesterday value, means failing to get below 75. You wait either for rejection or a failed breakout on the short side to get into the long end. So there are a lot of scenarios. You just need to spot at the right areas. Again, area number 1 here, area number 2 here, area number 3 here. The only thing you need to be really good then is to find the cheap entries after spotting if there is responsive selling or initiative buying. If there is responsive buying or initiative selling, or if we keep on driving lower and find then acceptance around 75, 76 with technical reactions, you need to see then if you spot initiative selling or responsive buying. And on this knowledge you base then your trades. And again, it's a very calm market. A little bit of failure of other market participants right now. So they just stay in control a little bit. This short-term traders, the shorter time frame traders. And we have not reached one of the activity zones yet. So it's still playing this range. It's still on its way up. It's still handled the POC normal with the signs of wanna test the range high. But you also see as the longer it takes and the more volume will be set here and will make then an edge. That means it will tighten the range if they cannot extend it and reach the volume edge at 87, but now building already a volume at 84 level. So it's very tight now. That doesn't mean that you look here for the short. We want to see the better value for looking for the responsive sellers is definitely at the 87, because risk reward is very bad here. So now they bought aggressive, and remembering still have on the scenarios. Scenario 1, looking for trend behavior, increasing buy volume and holding. Scenario 2, look for the responsive selling, either directly or after a failed breakout. And second scenario, if we're coming back to the range, look for responsive buying directly or after a failed breakout. And if they initial sell into this level, don't go for the short already here, because we need to find out if there's first interest in selling also below the 75, because this is yesterday value area high, and from the overnight I will tell you we could see clearly that this was some accumulation going on here. So now we look in if prices coming back, because we see here's where the buying started. That means they have now changed to show us if they're interested really in initiatives buying again, and then we would look here for the long trade. But if they just buy and then responsive selling at the top and got rejected, then we have here the cheap entry for the range short trade. Okay, we now seeing behavior I don't want to see. This is a behavior that only appears if the liquidity is not strong enough. So that means this is a clear sign that we don't have a strong liquidity. And if we look at the order book, we only have a comment between 200 and 350 contracts. This is a very very weak order book. So you have to be aware now. With the kind of playing you place now, you may get a little bit more spikes on the up and down side. That means this normal stop you think in, you have to make your stops a little bit wider. Then also know what is then a more distance stopped means also for your risk and also for your reward calculation, impacts on your reward calculation. This is very important. So beware then of taking tiny range trades with the old risk that is not giving at the moment, because we see order book is a little bit weak. So this is very important to spot immediately. We see this spike here, only small selling, but it took down till the 82 and got quickly absorbed now. But it took out at least 1-2 ticks on the downside. This is not usual. If we see that here was some buying and control, and so they let this fall down till the 82 with only a little bit volume. Yeah, that is a sign for a really a weak order book at the moment. Okay, we have a new buy control level. Now we are about to build value at the top area. That means this is the beginning of a possible long trend trade scenario. We've seen here the new buy control level with a lot of volume. Now if you want to get into this trade, we need to get in very, very cheap. That means back at this area where everything started. So prices are allowed to get back to this 86 level, to the area 86 to 88. Means if you're entering now at 89, please set your stop below this level or leave it and stay flat, because you need to stay with this stop below the 80, 86, 85. You have to accept that they're going back here. So if you're entering here at the 89, you need to have a 5-6 tick stop. If you're not comfortable with this, wait either price coming back and seeing again absorption here, and with the increase of volume here, then you go in this trade again. This is very important. See, right now we took on some control here, and okay. The cheap level would be for me starting around this 88 area, because here's where everything started. We built a lot of volume here at the 85, 86, 87, 88, and so for me 88 is good to enter then, because I can go with this 4 to 5 tick stop at the 83, 84 level. That's totally okay. And beware then, and look what happens if they now starting again. If they start again to buy, we want to see that the volume increases at the top area, at the 18, 91, 90, 91, 92 area. This is very important, because only this would means that there is a strength and willingness of some OTF buyers are, yeah. And that if not, and they fail here with rejection, then this is a sign of a failed breakout, and we then have a good chance to go into the range short. Right now we're waiting for the scenario to be played out. That's the first thing. Okay, you can see now reaching out to this level, buyers coming in. Some buyers coming in again. That means we pushed a little bit to the low, but you see also some market buyers coming in. That means you see this. Of course, this is some kind of bull control level now, where we need to see that this is accepted and people coming back to buy here again. So this is important now. And now, of course, they need to be, if there's real interest in buying, there have to be then some two scenarios. Either we see some balanced area before they kick it out to the upside, or we see the direct move now with the ongoing buying and increasing buy volume in the delta and trying to push higher. And we don't want to see that the failure signs at this top area. It is okay if it's not working out immediately. That would mean if we say collecting volume, stay balanced, then that's okay. But one of those two things need to happen to say that this trade is alive. At the moment, I don't touch my stop yet, because that's now the phase I cannot control. I made a decision. I recognize the scenario. I see where we at. I see this control level. I see there's just a buying control. We see that there's some buyers still coming in. And now market need to decide if we're getting directly into a long. If it fails, then I got stopped out. Or if we see some balanced phase before people trying. So that means they need some time and accumulate pieces, the bigger buyers. So we just wait for this. You see still a little bit buying. We didn't kick out all the material. So it's important that this area around 85, 86, 87 staying as a absorption area. We see absorption. We sold into this, and now again active buying. So we cannot do anything. We need to let the market play it out, but we see the signs, and this gives us the right to say reasonable. This is a lucrative trade opportunity, and we have some little advantage now that they test and take this bias here. They're still alive. This is real interest. And we will see how they play it out if they reaching up again to the top area, and if they are, we then see increase of volume again. We need to wait. No changes to my stop at the moment. I will change stop if we going into the impulse phase one again. That means buying and higher prices. Then you can tighten your stop, of course, because then we have new money in the books. Risk it, and it's then allowed to know that they don't want to go back and test below again, because they have now a second time we see confirmation of buying, and now we just wait. You see now that value follows the price. We see the people buying, the people who actually now selling, see this here in delta, got absorbed. That means they cannot push, they could not push it lower. Now now we see some effect of selling. We hit the bid, but it's still staying at this area. That means as long as we stay within this 85, we cannot do anything. We need to see if this works out. As long as we see the absorption holds at this level, buyers staying in control. That means these people who buying, they buy now passive. That means the people who sell or taken out some risk of the long side of their books, they collect these pieces passively. This is a normal process. And at this moment, you have to accept that nobody knows what is happening now. This is in trading. You don't have to know what happens next in order to make money. You have to know at one certain moment when you see given signals and seen some chances and an advantage and a play on your side, you then enter. And it's important to enter this every time, execute every time you see it. Only then you can win this game of statistics and mathematics. And the lucrative trade that fails then, that is then a minus trade, is totally okay, because the statistical edge tells you you can win several, you can lose several times if you have a good risk reward to make then a few profits that's so big. And that's like the rent you have to pay for a business, for a shop, with the rent you have to pay. This is like the money, the cost you have to spend for your workers in trading. This is the minus trades, the failed trades, but the lucrative trades that fail is just like the money you have to pay to stay in the business, and you have to get comfortable with it. And it's totally normal at the beginning and at advanced trader also, that you feel some kind of pain because your old behavioral patterns tell you if you lose money then that's bad, or you're maybe some self-justice person and very critical. That's totally okay. So find acceptance. And for me as well, I see selling, but you see absorption. People take this money from the sellers, and as long as they absorb, this scenario stays alive. And if it's not staying alive anymore and absorption doesn't work out anymore, you know then what happens? Of course, then I got stopped out, and that's it. And I will not say then at the end, I will know I have some pain or feelings, say, oh, unfortunately, but I know also at the end I find acceptance and say, that's part of the game. And I will make this trade the next time absolutely again, because I know at the end with my lucrative trades, I can build a positive P&L at the end of the week or the month or whatever. Still absorption. Still absorption. Now they took out the 85 and hitting the 84. This is tight, whereas my stop is below. My stop is at the 83, and as we see, some liquidity is now coming in. Also here at the 82 provided 80, that means the bulls, even though they sold so many pieces, they bulled, still not giving up. Even though it looks a little bit weaker now, they still not giving up. The problem is that it's of course the time that makes feel a little bit pain. But you cannot compare it with a normal volatility market. We already had this week this very slow order market. It's again today, so this is a little bit frustration, because it takes so long. You're living with this uncertainty of will it play out the trade or not. But I tell you what, that's also good training. It's also good training to wait and to be patient, and also be patient with the right attitude. Because the thing is not about discipline. Also, you need to be disciplined, of course, but it's also about seeing if you can stay with a clear mind and say reasonable why to trade this play, why to stay in this play, why would one do this? And then you have your play, and you have your play marks and everything. And of course, the thing now happen is that it's a little bit complicated than in a normal volatility, where you have normally not this long duration and click and tick, but you have more like tick, 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 tick. So that means this is a little bit for your brain. It's now complicated to say, well, is this trade still alive or not? And I told you, I don't touch my stop till impulse phase 1 starts. That means if people now coming back, if they would now come back and buy, which we see starting here. Funny thing, when they were at the lowest point at 84, almost got stopped out, I had my stop at 83. We saw liquidity coming in. That means this observations of absorption taking place was no bullshit, of course. I mean, I don't tell you bullshit. There was absorption. People did not let the shorts that obviously was taking place here take over control. That means there are bulls in this before determined control levels. Now we have to be patient. Now we have to look. And we can pull the stop if they take out this micro level with increasing volume here at the top area. Then we can pull the stop tighter, because then it makes no sense. Because now there is more money in the books on the long side, more risk. That means now a failure at this top area would mean it would be stupid then to stay in this trade too long, because we want to see now that they really take over. And this is not only a short-term trading trying to fish liquidity, but this is a real, at least mediocre, higher time frame trader. Now we're in this process now. I will tell you when something changes. Now think, we have risk on in the book. right, they take out the high. We have some selling at the top. I pull my stop now a little bit closer. That means to the 85 level. Now you see this selling here, responsive a little bit. Oh yeah, pushing deeper and deeper. I want to see at this area now, at the 86, 85, 86, there must be some absorption. I don't pull my stop because I let in the time to breathe here. I want to see if they get the chance here to absorb at the 80, 86, 87 level, then it's everything okay. If not, I'm just getting stopped out then with a -3. That's totally okay. We were patient. We see now that there is some reasonable signs why to get out of the position if they cannot absorb anymore, because they then were not able to push it higher and they failed then without absorption, staying alive here. So this would be then a better sign to say, okay, well then that's it, and then that's okay for me. And you see, at the moment we give it the time and we give it the air to breathe this trade. That means we see some absorption. Okay, they pushed, that had an impact on price, but now here at the 87 and 86, they already at 87 sold something, 248, 12. So there was selling at this area. And that means they could not push it lower than the 86 where only 31 contract was sold. Now they are fighting around this area, and we know this is important now. Bulls need to stay in control. They need to push it and increase volume now and take out the high here. And if this taking place, only then I have the chance then to pull my stop even closer on scratch about the entry level. And if this not happen, then now no changes, and we let the trade decide then if we get stopped with a small little loser, or we even have staying in the game and having the chance while we did this everything to see that they take out this high of the day and maybe build volume, and then we maybe see have a possible trend play, and there's nothing in our way on the upside. So this is a good reward, isn't it? Okay, they take out now, about to take out the high. What we not want to see is then again rejection. That means if they take out the high by only one tick with an increase of volume and seeing that absorption continues and then taking out the high, you then can pull your stop closer to your entry area. Because of course there should be then one moment when they take over control and take this trade home. And if not, then then it's not really the big other time frame trader, the big guy who we can sit on their shoulder, who take us up. Okay, see now, absorption took place. They tried to push higher, 90, buy, selling, take some books, risk out, and the order book at the 89, 88, but you see absorb it. They don't let it fall down. Even so, they sold, they don't let it fall down. They absorb. Right now, look at the tape. Very greenish, very big numbers, and the big red numbers are not getting mostly absorbed. Still alive. This trade is still alive. Yeah, a little bit unfortunately that it's not a normal vola day and a normal speed, but we're still in this trade. And I want to see that they finally take out this level of 90. There is only small liquidity though. We need some buyers here at the 90. We need them to take it over and get it higher, to test the higher area. And when they are about to take it high, please remember, then you're allowed to pull your stop. So you can you can do whatever you want, but I would recommend to do it different. They cannot take it out. It takes time. So maybe they're still fishing and trying to get more liquidity. So if you're a big guy and trying to get into a long, of course, you're trying to get some liquidity in passive buying. No, we can only wait and wait. But that's the way it is. That's trading sometimes. Still absorption, active buying again, tape stays green. The red numbers got absorbed. Absorption level now 88, 89. Still starting from 87, 88, 89. This is the absorption level. My stop still at 85 because absorption level 60, 86, 87, 88 is still alive. Now only a few sellers, now more sellers at 88 again. Testing now the 86 level, 300 contracts provided, refilled 87 level, 69, 77, now refilled 100 contracts, 156 they selling, staying in control, absorption, selling into this 86, 293 contracts, 13 got sold into absorption still taking place, refilling the 84 level and refilling the 87. We need to see in the tape that they switch back to active buying, because this absorption process would be only the beginning of a active buying process. If you're real interested in buying, then first you collect passively. This is the cheapest way to get to pieces, and then you switch to active buying again. It's still not played out. It's still in the game between bulls and bears, and bulls still trying to stay in control. Stop till at 85, so that means below this control level, because I don't want to see that they falling back here after they built this control level, then this here, and now back to this here, and staying above the PSC. So right now I give it the chance that they take out and trying to take out the micro 90 level, the 90 level, and go into this high level again. Yeah, we still need to wait. So no numbers, the next number is at 10:30, and it's also not important, it's Britain, Great Britain numbers, and then the next number is at 11 o'clock, but this is almost the end of the session. So okay, some people now going back to buy. The tape is now getting a little bit more greener again. That means sellers disappeared, buyers also, and now they coming back more actively. Liquidity still stays alive at the lower level. Still absorption was going on till 9:54. Then some little bit calming down, and now some buyers coming in. And remember, no changes to the stop yet for me. Still at the 85, and we're going to see that they finally take out the 90 level, or we get stopped out maybe, or we stay in. It still takes time, till we see taken out the higher below. That's almost swing trading. Tape stays green. 100, another 100 contract bought at the 88. It's not right now more paying the offer, but it's not over strong. It's not super strong. Delta is still on our side. You see this here with the delta structure. Delta, very beautiful. One can see the time of absorption when delta is moving hard to the downside, like here in the bid-ask difference here and here, but you see it has no impact on price staying at a certain level. So still alive. Now they saw it again, 322 into the 87. That means people who was buying taking maybe out some risk again, testing now again for liquidity. We're still having absorption here at this level. And that's it now. I got stopped out. They took out the 86, even sold into the 85 some contracts. 17, that means -3 with this trade. Lucrative. It took so long, of course. It was hard work right now. And for me, this was my stop level here at the 85, because I didn't want to see that they lose this control level. And
Um, so that's it. I think that's it then also for the day, because now we are already 10 o'clock and the trades haven't worked out, didn't play out for me today. That means that also the time now, the chances are getting lower that we will see some bigger move. Of course, it can happen. Of course, buyers can come back and we maybe see now some range trades and coming back to the low, or maybe they still control as long as we are above the 84, which I didn't want to see because this was not for my risk reward measuring. And we see also in Delta that the selling now a little bit more confident into this level. At the moment, I got stopped out. For me, the turn of momentum. For me, a little bit the turn of the momentum. Now we're testing VWAP from below, and you see sellers coming in even more. So I think that was the right moment to take out this trade. And there was some wonderful chances here as we stayed alive, as we build value again, as we see a pull of value to the upside. But you see immediately as I made this decision here with the 86, 85 to get out of the trade, you see the other people had the same intuition that I have now, because they also say now, okay, now this is not good anymore. They failed with the second try here to take out the long. They was confronted by absorption also of sellers here at the 90 level, and now you see people now taking out the risk, and maybe some guys are also confident. When we are now at this small range level already reached at the 84, and they now at this little LVN, and so maybe I take another trade if we see that we can touch this level again at 79.80 and see responsive buying. And there's already some time if it happens the next 30 minutes, because there's enough volatility normally till 10:30 a.m. to get into a trade and reach the target. But the later, the morning, the less are the chances that the target has been reached. Now I would say we have still a half an hour maybe for good trades. But you see again, very interesting today. Yeah, you see now the big picture. We're right in the middle now. So this is no level for me to trade. I know there is an edge in the smaller picture, but the bigger acts, the bigger important area for the risk reward from value perspective, for the range perspective, is most definitely not coming before the 79. So see, you're always risking when you're entering at this level that the people who obviously you see this, that's right, playing the long, that they got pushed out of their positions because people want to see lower level first or getting into more liquidity before they play the range long. So in the middle, close to the POC, this is no level for trading, of course. So don't hesitate here. Alright, you see here my trades today. So I got stopped out with this one, the long trade here. But for me that was a good handling. It was just a very, very weak order book that led to this spike to the downside that normally doesn't appear in the Bund. That means Bund tested this 2 ticks below, and normally we can stay with this 2 ticks below the extreme. So in 80%, this is not got touched. We had the 20% today, unfortunately. So the long then didn't work out for me, and then I spotted this situation where we see that we built value above the at the moment POC. You know, the at the moment POC was here at the 81. We get above, we pull back, and then we see people trying the first time. I said here, very weak order book, as only a small liquidity on the downside led again to a spike like we had here today with this weak order book. So I see, but this is a stronger sign for the buyers now. Buyers coming in again at this moment here, and we see now boom, 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 boom. They fired into the high. They fired into the high, extended the high, and I said, wow, okay, now we have a control level starting at the 84 area from going up to the 87. So this then was the time I stayed 30 minutes in this trade, because I said, even though they test the low, I said, if you're going in, please don't go in at this area, but try until they make a pullback to the buying control level. So that means buying control level starting at the 50, 85, 86. I said then 2 ticks above around at the 87, 88, I want to go in. I got in with the pullback at the 88 here. So here we started, and then you see they testing, but we see all here at the moment they trying to get out again at the upside, didn't work out, but they then tested the low, and you see here started with the low. I said don't hesitate and pull your stop too early, because as long as we see when they sell, and they sold already here, here, and here, and price didn't get below the 86, didn't go below the 86, didn't go below, okay, 85, but at this moment we see a lot of amount of selling taking place till here, and they still staying above the 85. So I said, okay, very important now for me not to pull the stop too quick. That means I will stay here with my 84, 83 stop, 4 to 5 ticks. And you see, absorption took place, absorption took place, absorption, absorption, absorption. That means obviously if somebody absorbs, is interested in buying passively. So we reached then this to the downside at the 9 o'clock 43, and you see day testing now even the 84 level, 84, 84, but no more selling. You see delta switches now and tape switches more to the upside again. So at this moment I said, now you can see, boom, they take out the microstructure, 88, boom, 89, at 177.90. So we're now in the situation that we have a new impulse phase number 1, starting from the initiative bull defensive area from here. That means now I said I don't want to see, as we see this holding structures build around here, we don't want to see now they take out this low. What was the low? 86. So that means now you could pull your top closer from the 83 for me now to the 85. So, and then as the absorption didn't hold on anymore, this takes place exactly at 9 o'clock and 58. I was stopped out with with -3. So I could avoid to get stopped out and to lose too much money on a trade that was looking very good for almost 30 minutes. And so this is adaptive stop handling that made sense if you can measure and if you can see what the tape and the order flow is giving you. So right now, at this moment, I said we want to wait. I wait for prices going to this lower volume edge, 80.79. As we now already coming into the area 10 o'clock, 10:20, 10:30, and you know that the market normally at this time of the morning is a little bit drying up, the volume's drying up, so we don't not see this area anymore. They already buy here very strong, they already buy here from the morning where the morning buy-in took place, so no chance again for me to take on a trade that is lucrative, because lucrative means not only a good management phase of the trade, but also good entry. And a good entry would mean measuring risk reward, giving us a trade that is better for my place, better than 1-to-1 risk reward. And this is not obviously not the case at this level here. So when you get 2 ticks, get maybe a cheap entry 2 ticks below the extreme, that means at the 83 you only have the POC is only then 2 to 4 ticks away. So in the best case 4, but maybe only 2, because We have a switching double POC today in this situation. That was created and caused by this volume edge we had, and created by the tries of other smaller time frame traders at least, to trying to play the long here. So no trade. We don't want to shoot our money just into the market without good risk reward. And if market is not big enough ranges today that is not giving us a trade then anymore, then so what? That's it then. We wait for a better market and we wait for a better situation. And as you see yesterday, one can make then easily with a good trade 10 to 20 ticks. So no matter what, who cares if the market doesn't provide then on a certain day and don't pace you. That's the way. I will tell you, that's the way in trading. Yeah, all right. What I see is here that there is no more trade available yet. That means here where I was looking for the long at the volume edge at 79, again, it wasn't touched, but already strong buying around here. One could have traded this, but I don't want to get stopped out if they then test the low at the edge. And the other thing is here on the upside, on the upper side of the range, the 2 days value area high, we see there was some little opportunity with the range short, but if one get in here with the double rejection at 89, at 10 o'clock 27, then there would be only coming in at the 88 level. So this would again only a 3 tick reward. So it's just too tight and too late in the morning for me here to take on this trade. So we are still in the upper region here, and in this region where we build the value, and it's a very tight range now, as you see. That I said that I don't want to trade here the short. It was not so smart because we only had then this two ticks to the POC, and you see that they really turned already to the long side after reaching the POC. So it's normal. I think you have seen it many times now that at this time around here in the morning it's a little bit the volume drying up, and it's very small and wedge consolidation sometimes with bad risk reward. So nothing to do then. yeah, nothing to do. And this wedge consolidation here. So it's about time, it's almost 11, so we will end this live session of today's Wednesday. Tomorrow I may not be on the desk because it's a holiday in Bavaria. So I may make a day off and spend some time for my free time. And the recap of the 2 days market was again very, very interesting. A lot of things to learn, a lot of thing to learn in terms of how the order books react when the market and the order book is thinner, and seeing the absorption part with this 30 minutes duration here, very interesting. How to make your stop handling then, and I think very interesting again. And I say thank you for watching and listening. This is Anton Hopfe for Manapa, and see you later with the recap then on the blog on manapa.de. Bye bye.